All right. There we are. Poof, we're back. Let's let everybody come back in here. And let me also add another screen. There we go. It's like people are starting to come back on here. The internet is a tricky little thing, I wish we had non-weather dependent. Where we are, actually, there is no fiber. It's all around us, but it's not right here. So I am looking into I haven't really dove into it too far yet. Um but we're going to dive in to see if there's some other kind of connection because with the radio station we're going to tell you about, I've got to have really good internet, a really good internet. So, anyway, more on that to come. Welcome once again to a better sounding Beaufort County House of Cards. My name is Mike Covert. Man, have we got a show tonight? Even the music was hot. Um, if you're watching, you are either on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. If you're on Facebook, like the page, tell your friends, like the page. We need to get the page more active. A lot of folks, even some people that don't care for the show, even comment. I usually don't get those, but some people send them to me, and it's always somebody that's, bless their heart, bless their heart. If you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel and then click the little bell. That way you get notifications and be active on there. Twitch, do whatever Twitchers do. Um, if you feel so inclined, and we would love to have you join us with this, become a partner with the show. There you see scrolling on the bottom of the screen is a our Cash app to make a one-time donation. That's awesome. It's M or dollar sign M Covert or MCOVERT, M Covert 1581, or go to the new patreon.com/Beaufort House of Cards, and you can sign up for a membership. They're very affordable, a lot of cool stuff. We're going to merge the show into the radio station. It'll be all part of it, and you'll have access to everything as a member on Patreon. It's really cool. Gonna have some merch coming up. I've got some people looking into a design. Going to take something that I used, I think, from my business days. We had things called mini mics, and those of you who were around for that knew what the mini mic was. I have one being designed, and anyway, we'll get more into that later. Anyway, anyhow, we're glad you're here. We have a lot of stuff to go over tonight. We do have a special guest coming on here in a little while. But first, here's the news. So, interesting story out of Utah this past week. Um, a teacher from Utah's William Penn Elementary School, and that's in the Salt Lake City area, was in the news. The teacher, as far as I know, remains unnamed, but sent out this social media post that got everybody's hair on end. And the post said, quote, questioning how the parents and students in a majority white school would react to her classroom, which she said was built for non white students. This teacher says, and I quote, for the first time in my life, I'm going to be teaching at a majority white school, and I'm kind of interested to see how students and parents react to my classroom, or if they even notice anything about it because it's built for non white students. I read that and I had to go, wait a minute. Did I just read what I thought I read? Did a double take, and education is talked about a lot. There's a lot of things going on with the public school system, no matter where you live. The teacher explained that this was her first year teaching in a majority white school. Said there were no white kids represented in many of the elements for the classroom, and we all remember back in elementary school, the teachers went in a week or two beforehand, and the room was all decorated and learning things, and really cool for their charisma. Never do I remember ever even wondering if a teacher was what political spectrum they were on, what their sexual preference was. That wasn't part of that wasn't why I was there. Is that why we send our students to school, is to learn what the teacher's sexual preference is? I don't think so. Anyway, this teacher went on to say coloring pages she offers to students are not white representative. The teacher went on to say that while some of her classroom library includes straight, in her words, straight cis white men, and I'm really not sure what cis means. I know my daughters have told me, but I just don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, she says cis white man who she says dominate literature, but is overpowered by books depicting diverse peoples, including characters of color and different gender identities and sexual orientations. And since all this happened out there in Salt Lake City, the principal of the school came out with a letter um, condemning the act and basically made the teacher take down the social media posts and apologize, and said that the district was investigating, the situation. So here's the problem with this. And some of you might remember, a few years ago, there was a teacher on Hilton Head Island at the elementary school, I believe it was Hilton Head Elementary, that did somewhat the same thing, pretty much the same thing. Social media, posted pictures of her classroom draped in very colorful flags, but they weren't flags of the USA or the state or the county. They were flags of all these sexual orientations. Well, when this all came out, I went kind of batshit crazy, as they say, and I I kind of went to the extreme because I was super pissed off when I heard that this teacher on Hilton Head was going to, emphatically make, I guess, her students or his students, whatever, use different pronouns to address each other, as well as hang all the LGBTQ plus negative Pony Express, your sister's ass flags, whatever, all over the classroom. So I came out and went public with this, and I got a hold of the principal and Ivy. Thank you, Ivy. It was the middle school. And David, happy to discuss. Hey, I'd love to have you on here sometime because you have been very vocal about that, and we appreciate that. So let's do that as in the future here coming up. Anyway, I had emphatically talked, with the principal and especially Dr. Rodriguez, and I said, "Look, I don't want to see this teacher get fired. I'm not calling for her head or his head. No, but that teacher does not need to be interacting with the formidable minds of our youth in the public school system. If she wants to teach adults or something else, be that as it may, but these children who are single digit, they don't need to be involved and exposed to that." And hey, this channel, this station does not support any type of behavior, and I call that criminal. It's criminal. And we don't support any kind of criminal behavior like that towards children. And let me tell you, before all, I'm sure the hate mail is starting to come. I don't care if you want to consider yourself, if you look like me and you want to call yourself green, that's fine. I don't care if you have a vagina and you think you are a man. Think what you want. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, purple, green, or gray, and sometimes red. I could care less. However, you can think that let me tell you, if you think you are close related to a cat that has scales like a fish, that's fantastic. Do that on your own time. Do that on your own time, not on my dime, not on the public's dime, the tax dollars that come out of our paycheck. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable at all. Well, we pushed far enough, and it wasn't just me. It was a lot of people. We pushed far enough, and we got that teacher reassigned. That teacher went to the call it the alternative school over in Beaufort. Um, I don't know if he or she's still there. I don't care. But it was a moral victory for common sense and for parents. That's right, David. We got her reassigned. So the point of this is people are all over this country, whether it's very, very well media received in Loudoun County and Fairfax County, Virginia. You know, we have our own situations here. Now we have a report out of Salt Lake City, and there are countless others. There are countless others. And believe me, I am not knocking the public school system. My father worked, I mean, his career was in public education. My brother, his career is in public education. I'm a product of public education. My four daughters are all products of public education. My grandchildren, as of right now, are all products of public education, and we're doing okay. Okay, so I'm not knocking that. But what parents say and think matters. Okay, that's a problem. Anyway, parents all over the country are finally fed up and they're standing up against this disgusting, and I think it is disgusting. It's disgusting behavior and they're standing up against it. And believe me, I think it's a very small percentage of public school teachers that do this and believe this. Now, in inner city schools, statistics would show, or not just inner city, but public schools in the cities, large cities, Chicago, New York, LA, whatever. Yeah, I'm sure it's a little bit higher. It goes with the demographics, but it's a small percentage overall. Speaking of schools, school is back open everywhere. So watch out for those kids on the road. They must have stopped school buses altogether. Because I see car ride lines, at least out here at Pritchardville Elementary, with the few times that I go out that particular corner, I see these lines that would make, if I had hair, I'd be pulling it out. So nobody's riding the bus because everybody's either walking or they're in these car lines. Anyway, to those kids that have to walk home, be glad, kids, that it's 2022 and not when I was in school. Because in my day, we had to walk both ways to school, and it was uphill both ways. Think about that. Anyway, enough of the news already. It is 20 minutes after the hour. I have been just splitting at the seams, wanting to let the cat out of the bag on something. And I can't really even do it 100% today, but I can do it 50%. So that's good enough. And, but it's such great news. I need to pass this on. If you've been watching for a while, you know this channel, this station has been supporting write-in candidates for county council seats here in Beaufort County. We've had Carolyn Fisher, who is a write-in candidate, and remember that name, Carolyn Fisher, District 6, Beaufort County Council. Write her name in November. She's going to be your new councilwoman. I have been courting two people in District 9 and District 4 to write in against Mark Lawson and Alice Howard, respectively. Well, lo and behold, I can report to you now that there is a candidate coming out as a write-in for District 5 against the current chairman, Mouse A. Passament. How about that? That is fantastic. Mouse A. Passament. This is terrific news. It really is terrific. This is fantastic news. District 5. So anyway, we can't divulge who it is yet. They have said they're going to be running. They've got a few more I's to dot and T's to cross. We're going to get them on the show. And it is true. So I can't wait to have this person on the show. Let me tell you, we're going to talk about a king a little bit later. Passament, as I just called him, Mao Se Passament, and I no disrespect to Mao Zedong, uh, the chairman. But anyway, the chairman Passament believes he is another king out there. Already, he's passed demands. You'll learn about some of these to even those not in office yet. You better watch out, old Joe. We are coming for your seat. That's right. That's right. That's right. So, I am sure that all of you who watch regularly from the Beaufort County area are well aware of the political football that is known as the 278 bridges over to and from Hilton Head Island. It's been in the news a lot lately. And just in the past 3 to 4 business days, this is one of our topics tonight. The Public Facilities Committee of Beaufort County Council, which is chaired by Stu Rodman, District 11, soon to be ex-councilman. Tommy Reeds beat him in the primary. Anyway, the Public Facilities Committee of County Council met and unanimously passed a resolution that says, Town of Hilton Head, we are going forward with a 6-lane proposition. We really don't care what you have to say about it, but in the interim, please feel free to go ahead and keep hiring engineers to study it. Almost verbatim is what Stu Rodman said to that effect. Again, it was passed unanimously in committee and passed on to full council. Well, they will rehash it, and hopefully the public can come out and get more comments, because they did allow for some public comment. But in the words of Stu Rodman, he was like, let's keep it down so we can move on and get out of here. How embarrassing. How embarrassing for the rule of law and democracy in this country that someone such as Stu Rodman, or any public official for that matter, would limit your right to speak. That is not American. What wasn't talked about? Now, let's take a break a second. Let's go backwards. What at play here is the town of Hilton Head doesn't want one huge 6-lane superstructure from Bluffton or Moss Creek over to the island. They don't want that. They're afraid, and rightly so, that that's going to destroy part of the Stony community. It's going to destroy part of the entrance and exit of the island as far as the look, and it's going to create this concrete atmosphere. The county wants to do that. So, what wasn't talked about at that meeting Monday afternoon, Monday evening, was how it was done. During the meeting, committee chair Stu Rodman made mention. This is the interesting part. Write this down. He mentioned off the cuff about an email that he received from Senator Tom Davis. Now, Senator Davis has been an instrumental part of the entire argument for the several years, bringing sides together and using some common sense legislatively to put this thing together. Plus, Senator Davis, he carries a lot of weight. He carries a lot of weight in Columbia. So, anyways, Rodman says, I got this email from Tom Davis, and here, he does one of these. It's right here, and I haven't really read it all, but Tom supports this. He supports county council's efforts to move forward, is what he said. Rodman did not read the email or pass it around. And when that happened, something stuck out to me about that. After this was all done, I reached out to Senator Davis, who I know personally, and I said, hey, is this on the up and up? Because out of pure political professionalism, he should have read your email to the public. B, every council person should have had that in their package. And C, You probably should have been invited there. Senator Davis told me he didn't know about the meeting until late into the evening the previous Friday, which has, for the most, state level politicians, their weeks fill up pretty fast. So he couldn't attend. He said that the statement made by Rodman was completely false. In fact, he said this email was a few line statement to the contrary. Can you believe this? Because we're talking about Stu Rodman, I can. It was completely the opposite. One of the overriding questions is, why did no one on county council ask or demand to see this email? It does beg the question, were they warned ahead of time not to go there? Because that does happen. That does happen. Another question is, why did Stu Rodman have to make up a complete false statement, a complete fabricated story against one of, if not the most respected state senators in South Carolina? That doesn't seem too smart. Another question that I have is Stu Rodman receiving any kind of personal gain by this type of nefarious activity? It begs the question that I have to Hilton Head Town Council. Were you aware of this egregious act by the chairman of the committee, Stu Rodman, and resident of your town? Well, Chairman Passaman finally did get into the video of the meeting, and it's on the county website. They're probably running right now to take it down, but go check it out. And if they do take it down, I've got a copy of it. Just let me know. Anyway, go watch it for yourself. The bullcrap starts with Chairman Passaman at the 54-minute mark, and it continues. So Passaman gets on there and starts telling stories about how he and the mayor of Hilton Head Island agree on this, blah, blah, blah. Then he contradicts himself and says, I consulted with the county attorney and the engineering director and the county administrator, and this is a county project and we're moving forward. But at the same time, he says, and the mayor, McCann, agrees with me. That's where the boots need to be put on in a big way. So I asked, did the town council know about this? Not according to the town, they knew about it. At least a couple of town council members that I talked to, one in specific, and I didn't tell them I was going to use their name, so I'm not going to. One was a male, and he was extremely upset that the county had the gall to do this. B, that the county had the gall and the gumption to call out the town and then return the volley saying that the mayor agreed with the county. And C, the town council person said the issue with Tom Davis, they knew was a false, complete fabrication because he's met with them. Now, one person that I talked to this week said, well, maybe Tom Davis playing. No. I've never known him to do that. Never. He's a human, but I've never known him to do that, to play both sides of the fence. He doesn't work that way. Joe Passaman was very clear to the town and to the citizens of the county. His message was this: we are doing this. We are shoving it up your arse. This is a county project. Like it or not, we're moving forward. He made a fatal mistake when he said that the money, the 80 million or whatever it is, 120 million, whatever the SIB is matching, is in jeopardy. Senator Davis has said explicitly that money is not in jeopardy, that the project needs to be complete in scope and agreement first and foremost. The money is not in harm's way. Joe Passman just said the money is in harm's way. You could hear this in the voice, and I encourage you to go watch the video in the county. It happened Monday. It's the Public Facilities Committee. There's a reel-to-reel on their little on the county channel page. You click on it and it comes up. It's real easy. You could hear it in the voice of the county administrator. You could hear he's in a position, and I know this guy, Eric Greenway. I know him very well. Okay. In his voice, there was angst. In his voice, there was intrepidation. And in his voice, there was fear. Probably the fear is because he's in over his head. He's not comfortable with this situation at all. My question to town council in Hilton Head, are any of you, and I hope you all of you are watching, or somebody, nudges you and has you come on, are any of you going to stand up to the bullies of Joe Passman and Stu Rodman? Who's going to stand up against them? Now, there is a group on Hilton Head, the county, but mostly on Hilton Head, that has a signature list of 9,000 people. 9,000 people have signed several documents, and this latest one is where I'm going. And they've put together this document, and I want to share some of that with you. And in this document, they urge that the county proposed resolution on the 22nd Public Facilities Committee be defeated for the following reasons. There's a lot of engineering jargon, but reason one, what Rodman and crew have proposed is not an end-to-end fix. Not at all. What Rodman wants to propose is busting the thing up into two phases or two issues. It's not a cooperative effort. Rodman is so quick to say this is a cooperative effort between the county and you shot that wad long time ago. This is a county-driven issue right now. The county does not care of the wishes of the Stony community, first and foremost, and they do not care of the wishes of the greater southern Beaufort County, Hilton Head and Bluffton citizenry that don't want to see a concrete superstructure, one massive bridge, 6 lanes from Moss Creek over to the island. This group put out a statement that in 2022, with strong support and help from Senator Tom Davis and the prodding of citizens groups, including this same group, the end-to-end study was revived. Rodman and council had previously poo-pooed it and got it taken away. This group, again, here's another example. Senator Davis is absolutely sticking his neck out for the plan of an end-to-end project with separate bridges, not a one superstructure concrete jungle. On August 16th, the Town Council of Hilton Head voted to support this end-to-end study that Tom Davis is supporting. Again, Stu Rodman, and this is where people like him get so successful, because these are complex things that you and I don't talk about every day. We don't talk about superstructures and all this kind of stuff, road building. That we don't do that. That's not our everyday jargon. But he knows enough to blow it past, pull the wool over, whatever you want to call it. The chair of the Public Facilities Committee, Stu Rodman, was present on August 16th, 2022, in the town of Hilton Head when they voted to support this end-to-end study that Tom Davis supports. But now you have Pinocchio Rodman saying the town is behind us on this. And then you have his boss, Miles Passament, saying, we're going to do it. Get over it. Like it or not, go do your studies. Sit down. This is a county job. Kumbaya, boys. What Stu Rodman has done, and his counterparts, and this group says it so well, is poison the well. They've poisoned the well. That's a strategy by the county. Now, they could succeed. And as they say in this letter or this document, after lengthy challenges, they could succeed in building some kind of suboptimal bridges, but would dump unplanned chaotic traffic on downstream communities. That, my friends, is the exact opposite of a cooperative effort. We'll take a message here. Chad Smith, but do we have a write-in candidate for treasurer yet? That's the one I'm waiting for. Serious question. Thanks, Chad. Not that I'm aware of. I have not been alerted to anything that would show that somebody is interested in as a write-in candidate against the current treasurer. That's the first. You're actually the first one I've heard even mention that. So, interesting. So anyway, I called and I talked with the senator. Rather, he wasn't happy with this. At least when he and I were conversing, and this ain't over. This ain't over by any stretch. It is about 7:40, 20 minutes before the hour. Just a reminder to folks. Boy, that sweet tea is good. That if you want to help the show, please go to Cash App. Check us out on Cash App. It's scrolling there on the ticker at the bottom of the screen. You can also go to patreon.com/Buford House of Cards. There's memberships and stuff like that. Want to let you know, we've mentioned this a couple of brief times, and we're going to keep mentioning it and bring it on a little stronger. The plans are in the works to start an internet radio station right here. It would incorporate Beaufort County's House of Cards. That would become part of the station. The internet radio station is called Big Patriot Radio. See if we can do a voiceover with that.
Big Patriot Radio.
I have to work on that one. Anyway, some software is needed. We're gonna have to upgrade the PC here. It's kind of running down anyway. The internet thing, we got to get that worked out. There's some licensing that has to happen, graphics and things like that. Maybe by the end of September, beginning of October, somewhere in there, we'll be ready to launch. Big Patriot Radio, blues and news, country pop, and classic rock. How about that? There you go. Say it again for you. Okay, we'll do that. Big Patriot Radio, blues and news, country pop, and classic rock. Woo! Love it. The show's going to have, obviously, music. It will be 24 hours a day. There's going to be music. There's going to be news channels, news shows, rather. We'll have this podcast. This live stream will be regularly scheduled programming. Hopefully, we'll also have other podcasts that we'll bring in. I guess that's more to come. Advertisers, absolutely. We will have advertisers. This ain't free, and we got to pay for it. So, matter of fact, nobody, not even the boss in the other room, knows about this. I'm letting this one out. We do have our first advertiser. I talked to him this evening from the other side of the house. Got that firmed up. Not ready to release who it is, but we do have our first advertiser. We're making some big time deals, pretty much doubling up on the ads or 30-second ads. So if you want to get, in advertising, it's cost per ad. Like with internet, it's price per click. Well, in radio, it's cost per ad. There are some deals we're making right now it blows radio advertising away. Anyway, all that's really cool. And that's coming up. Now we need to see where our guest is. Let me take a look here. It's time to refill your cup of Joe. Reach out to our guest and see why they have not. Let's try this. Bear with me a second. We'll send out the invite here. And let's see here. You are really going to enjoy this because this, and actually, we need to have him back next week as well, because you can't do it all in one time, one sitting. I mean, there's no way. There's no way. So, let's see here. We'll send that over to him, and hopefully he will pick that up and jump on board. Once we see him in the green room, we will bring him on. With the town of Hilton Head elections coming soon, do you have a favorite candidate for the mayor? Thanks, Kirk. And that's a great question. And so here's the deal with that. Joanne, I don't know everybody that's running. Okay, so that's the first thing. So I'm not going to pick anyone because I know there's more than just two. Joanne Orishak, I know her personally from her days on the school board. She is a very, very conservative, constitutional, conservative person. Her heart has always been where her mind tells her to go constitutionally, I feel. Alan Perry, I know him personally. He's a nice guy, very well-respected professional. My question to the mayoral candidates would be, will you demand that the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce release complete financial documents to your organization? And I also say this to anybody running for town council, county council, whatever council, the dog council. If any of those candidates can say, no, I think they're fine, I think the chamber releases what they need to release and I have no problem, then you're probably not my choice. If you are a candidate, and please, somebody share this with them, and maybe they're watching, jump on board if you are. If you are going to stand up for transparency and common decency in politics, because it's our tax money that you're giving to the chamber, if you won't do that, then I really don't have any use for you. If you will do that, then I'm probably going to be behind you. I don't know if either one of them have been asked that. I haven't had the opportunity to. I plan to. I'd love to have them both, or I understand there may be another. Again, I'm really not sure. That hasn't been high on my radar screen right yet. I'd love to have them both on here. Thanks, Ivy. Understood. And I think that's a great choice. I would like to know a little bit more when it comes to financial transparency when it comes to mayors. for the town of Hilton Head. So we'll see what happens with that. David, we lost a good candidate running for District 8 Board of Education. Can you give us a little bit more information on that, David? Who was it that you lost? Who do you have running? Again, we haven't done much with school board on here as of yet. I think last week we did roll out who is running for what. Short of that, don't believe we had anything out there. So by all means, please let us know. Let's see what's going on with our guests. We still do not have them in the green room. So let's just move on. Maybe they'll be here. Maybe they won't. We'll add them back in. While we're waiting, let's do a little checkup on our buddy over at the GOP, the county GOP, Chairman Henley. What do you think? Should we do that? Absolutely. Absolutely. After this past week, I firmly believe that, and this is where I meant when we started the show, that he has put his order in for King. I really and honestly believe that. And matter of fact, if I had a little graphic of a king's crown, I have a picture of him. I would put that on him, and maybe that'd help him. I don't know. I do know that he listens to the show, and for that, Kevin, I really appreciate that because we're getting out to all corners of society, and I appreciate you watching and listening, and anybody else, no matter what flavor politics you come from, we appreciate you being on here. But anyway, back to the king. The crown. The crown for king of the GOP. This past week, he told a group of people in two different places that, quote, unquote, there is no way we will allow any Republican to vote for a write-in candidate in the general election, end quote. I was told that by two people, not together, the exact same words. There is no way we will allow any Republican to vote for a write-in candidate in the general election. YouTube's probably going to put me in jail for this one, but you can kiss my ass. Nobody is going to tell me who I can and can't vote for. And I hope every single one of you watching feels the same way. And if you are a politician and you hold office and you hear this garbage, you should be jumping up and down. If you are a taxpayer, your head should have just exploded off the top of your shoulders. Because, Kevin, wait a second here. Isn't the GOP the group that stands for free and fair and open and honest elections? You do believe in that, Kevin, correct? I want to make sure I understand. You do believe in that, Kevin, correct? Free, fair, open, honest, transparent elections. To do that, you should encourage people to run for office, not hide behind what you are creating, but that is what you are doing. That is another reason why you are a failed supreme leader of the county GOP. I hope you do believe that, Kevin, or is it just all talk? Because we would understand. If it is, just say so. It's obvious since there is only one candidate who has come out publicly to run for write-in, and now we have two, but we don't have a name, so we can't really count that person yet. That one person who has come out is Carolyn Fisher, and I hope everyone, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, Rastafarian, Crustacean, whatever Ian you are, I hope you vote for Carolyn Fisher for nothing else because Kevin Henley told you not to. If for nothing else, because he told you not to. And you know, this is the only show, this is the only platform where this has been talked about. Obviously, and I'm speaking of Carolyn in this specific instance, because he's been so animated, and both of these, actually 3 people have told me this, that he's been banging his fist on tables, speaking longer than have political candidates because he's so out of touch with reality. The chairman of the county party is threatened. I firmly believe this. He is threatened by a young, independent, thinking, conservative female bringing fresh new ideas to the table. Sorry. Because he wants to have a candidate who will rubber stamp everything the party says and everything that the county council chairman says, which, by the way, they're already doing. That's right. Old Passament has already had some meetings with some candidates on the ballot. And at one of those meetings where actually it was orchestrated by Kevin Henley, our guest is in the green room. We'll get to him in a second. One of these meetings was orchestrated by Kevin Henley. Henley sat up and said, I need you to know about a few items the chairman of county council has next year that need your support, gets up and walks out. So, not only is he threatened by this young lady, bringing fresh new ideas, he would rather have someone who's a rubber stamp for what he wants. That's called a lackey. And for what the county council chairman wants. And we've already seen this occur. This week, it was this. 3 weeks ago, there were pictures taken of the chairman, a female councilwoman, and Tab Tabernick together. I don't know if it's legal or not, but is a county council chairman supposed to be having meetings with unelected people talking about government or political, government policies? Is that legal? So, discussing county business to people not even elected yet. I mean, there's nothing that says Tab Tabernick will win. There's nothing that says Tom Reitz will win or David Bartholomew. I think they will. But anyway, do you discuss things with them already when they're not elected? I think there could be an illegal concern there. I don't know. Well, hopefully we got 2 more people, like I told you earlier. District 4 taking on Alice Howard. District 9 taking on Mark Lawson. Hopefully they will be able to put this to bed and come out. And let me tell you, folks, because Kevin Henley is out there telling people not to vote for a write-in candidate, by golly, I hope everywhere you can, up and down the ballot, write in someone where necessary, if for nothing else, because he told you not to. You see, folks, our system of elections is failed. It's failed. I never really truly understood it, why it was failed or how it was failed until this primary season when I saw it for myself. You can see something, but until you smell it or taste it, you don't know really what it is. I got the double dose this year. Our system is failed. These machines work. We have to fix this system. We'll talk more about that here in a second. I am going to, let's go back over here. I'm going to bring in our guest. Bear with me just for a second here. Let's see. All right. Little time check. It is 7:55. Real quick, David Cadd, the county council chair, is trying to get the votes to state. Well, of course he is. Of course he is. And that's one reason, if not the biggest reason, why he's glad I'm not on the ballot, because I was very open. I was coming for the chairmanship. And boy, would I have changed things in a drastic way. But alas, we'll do it another way. The chalkboard, we need an answer from Kevin. It's time for transparency. Absolutely, we need an answer from Kevin. We need an answer from Kevin on several items. He's a talker, but he's not a doer. He's not a doer. So anyway, it is high up 8 o'clock. We may go longer tonight. I want to bring our guest on here very, very shortly. We're going to talk about something called a DMO. One of the things we're going to talk about. What is a DMO? Is that a new group? No, that's called a direct marketing organization. Every county has one. I'm talking about South Carolina. Every county has one. Typically, historically, they're always the Chamber of Commerce, I believe. In Beaufort County, go figure, we have multiple. Okay. So, well, what's the need for them? Well, when it, originally it was a marketing arm, it was a tourism building arm. I think the chamber many decades ago was aligned to help the small business person grow, which I agree with that. But the marketing side of it, the tourism side of it, which is so infected this area, you'll see here in a little bit, that's archaic. It's not even needed. That's a has-been. Anyway, this county has 3. Town of Hilton Head and the town of Bluffton and the county use the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce as a DMO. The town of Port Royal, the city of Beaufort and the county of Beaufort use the Greater Beaufort Chamber of Commerce, or they may have changed their name, whatever, as a DMO. And then of course, there's the Black Chamber of Commerce, which I'm not quite sure why they're still there, who recognizes them. They used to be getting a lot of money, but when I was on council, we kind of dried that up for some things that were going on. I don't keep in touch with them. I don't understand why in 2022 we're being so racist that we have to have a Black Chamber of Commerce. That's a whole nother story. We'll go there another day. Anyway, you're going to find out about these DMOs. And what happens. I want to welcome to the show, if not the expert, he's one of, but he's probably the expert when it comes to, and this is across the globe, when it comes to DMO scandals and tax dollar scandals. Skip Hoagland, welcome to Beaufort County House of Cards.
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me, and thanks for standing up. We need more people like you. First of all, I'll make a quick introduction, and then I'll go ahead and I'll just try to answer your questions. And unfortunately, there's so much. This is such a tangled web of corruption. It's probably bigger on a dollar standpoint of wasted illegal use tax monies than you'll ever do, and any show that you'll ever do we'll discuss. And that's one of the reasons I'm so focused on this. But first of all, at 74 years old, the founder of scwatchdog.com, it's about truth over power to me at my age. I got nothing to lose, and I'm trying to report the news. I'm trying to report stuff on big ticket items, big misuse of tax monies. I'm not focused on small stuff. I can't change the world. I can't fix the state. I can't fix all of Beaufort County, but I can focus on the big tax use and tax misuse, and places where I think we need to have forensic audits and really look very closely. And that's really the key to this. It's like the FBI, Mike. The reason they're so successful, and I consult with FBI agents in our scwatchdog.com group. The reason they're so successful is for one reason, and one reason only. They follow the money. You follow the money, you clean up 99% of the corruption and everything that you and I are talking about. That just is just that simple. So I'm this next year and moving forward, I'm going to be real big about forensic audits, not only of the chambers of commerce, all of them, but I'm going to be real big about the school district at 296,000. I mean, 296 million, excuse me. And then the chambers are, if you add them all together, they're also many millions as well. And then I think we need to have each one of our towns and our city councils and even the county council, they all need to go under a forensic audit as well to clean the slate. And the reason is real simple, Mike. The reason they all need to be audited is because they never have been, number one. They all just give us their our hired audits, including the chambers of commerce and the DMOs, standing for Destination Marketing Organizations, which receives not only aid tax monies, but they receive general tax funds, which is even worse. And I think the main thrust of this is that the Chamber of Commerce is illegal to even fund with tax monies to begin with, because you can't use public monies for issue public tax monies for private purposes. That in itself is against the law. So that's not counting all the other state and federal laws that we have. Bill Miles, the Hilton Head Bluffton Chamber, the Black Chamber, the Beaufort Chamber, CVB, the DMO. And but I want to clear this up for your audience before I get going, because it's not about all chambers. It's not about everybody's bad. Example, in Beaufort County, which I'm focused on, the Greater Bluffton Chamber is a properly, legally operated chamber. They're not tax funded, and they're pure, and they're living to the pure mission and reason a chamber of commerce even exists. And that is a private nonprofit 501(c)(6) organization that is run and owned by their members to help their members prosper in the community in which they live. This is beauty salons, dentists, doctors, plumbers, etc., etc. It has nothing to do with tourism, should not have anything to do with tourism, and should not receive any of our monies. So let's get that straight. So they have to be separate. So a DMO is hired by the town, and we have to have 3 towns in Beaufort County, and that is Bluffton, Hilton Head, and Beaufort, the city of Beaufort. They all take they should all take their aid tax funds, their accommodation funds within that city, and those funds should be given to a hired DMO. And it could be the town could actually run that themselves, or the town might decide, which is what we have to decide, is to get rid of all this waste and abuse and illegal use and abuse. We need to defund every one of them, because technology, Facebook, local search, and all of that is doing all of this marketing for our cities and our county for free for the whole country. Every city, every state, everybody, it's all free. We don't. It's a failed business model. So you're right about that. We don't need it. We need to defund
way of doing business.
Yeah, but we really, before we defund them, and what we really need to know, which is really the extreme abuse, is their failure to give us a full accounting on. And Bill Miles would be the perfect example, and also Rob Wells over in Beaufort. They're refusing to show us what they've done with this money, this tax money, and even fought me to the Supreme Court, and they're still denying. The towns are still denying FOIA. And every one of the town council members, I'm talking about every one in Beaufort County, is approving the ongoing issue and illegal use of millions of tax funds. Now, real quick, you're right about the Black Beaufort Chamber. That's insanity. You know, we have a Beaufort Chamber, CVB. Everybody's welcome. We got to get over the black and white thing, and we got to understand it's about the man and the woman and the character of the man and the woman. Okay, so we got to get rid of that. I mean, what does it tell us as white people, as Spanish people, or whatever, that we're not welcome? That it's only for black people only? I mean, that's crazy. We have one chamber open for everybody. Get over it. Now, what we got to do is well, I can go rambling on and on and on, but
let me
I want you to go ahead.
Yeah,
questions
let
because
me ask
I have
you.
a
There's some
bad habit
questions
about
that I
over
have.
talking. Yeah, but you go ahead
I
and
can
ask me
get
some
you.
questions specifically. Yeah, I have a
All
bad
right.
habit.
So
Go.
you're okay. You're all right.
Yeah.
Um, obviously, and I've known you for a long time. You've discovered this isn't like only happening here. You've discovered this all over the country.
Correct.
But when did it happen? When did that bulb go off and you go, wait a minute, this county this is a, as you call it, a cesspool. When did that
Right.
happen?
Well, the problem with what the topic that we're on tonight, Mike, is we need about 20 shows. Okay, but
Oh
and
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not sure I know how to drill all this down simply, but basically, I got in the internet in 1994, and I started buying up domain names and what some of the names that I had bought back then, running the company for my family was HiltonHead.com, HiltonHeadIsland.com as an example, and other Savannah.com, etc. And from 1994, not until around the 2000s, and and also before that, prior to the internet, I was in the publishing business. I founded local magazines. I owned stuff like Island Events Magazine and the Official Guides. I was in the publishing business. And even back then, we were complaining about Chambers being in our business, getting and publishing that magazines, being a nonprofit, and profiting from advertising sales. And I said, this is crazy. We're sitting here joining a chamber and we're expecting them to support us, but yet they're trying to they're stabbing us in the back and trying to put us out of business. I mean, this is crazy. So it really got worse with the internet when they started becoming the DMOs and started getting all this money, these millions and millions of dollars. Then these people, and I'm using Bill Miles as a perfect example in the Hilton Head Bluffton Chamber. And you're right. This is what I'm telling you right now with Bill Miles, the Hilton Head Bluffton Chamber. There's 2,000 doing the same thing in this country, and some much bigger, Las Vegas, Orlando, Miami, etc. But let's just use Bill Miles because I like to be Beaufort County. I don't like to talk about the world. I like to focus in our backyard. And basically, what he's
Right.
done is he's taken these tax monies, he's co-mingled them with the chamber private membership dues, and he's actually operating as a fraud and a tax scam. What he's done is he operates as a for-profit media selling advertising on a DMO website that he developed in Canada, and he's disguised himself, tricking the community and the IRS that he's a nonprofit. And this could not be any further from the truth. And so I have been beating the drum for local councils, for the FBI, the IRS, Attorney General. And you know this, that I've been beating this drum for everybody to investigate this guy. And I've even caught the FBI lying, said they did investigate him when in fact they didn't. And that's another story that we're dealing with right now. But the bottom line is once Bill Miles is investigated, once he is forensically audited, like the Palm Beach CVB, DMO, and Chamber in Palm Beach, Bill Miles will be over. It'll be done. He'll be finished. The Chamber will get back to operating like it should be. It'll start operating to the benefit of its members, and we'll hire a new DMO that will be fully accountable on where the tax monies are going. There'll be no more advertising sales, no more unfair trade competitive practices, no more violations of IRS tax codes, IRS UBIT. We'll have procurement will start being followed, et cetera, et cetera. And you know a lot about this because you sat on Island Council. I mean, on the Beaufort County Council, and you had to listen to me abuse you and everybody else for many years. So you're well aware of all this that I'm talking about. So, but anyway, go
But
ahead.
let me say this, that people that listen to this show, more often than not, they're not going to dive into the weeds, like especially like you have.
No,
But even from what I did on council. So from a layman's perspective, why does the county have 3 DMOs to begin with? We know it's a
no,
failed business plan. Nobody
I
uses a
guess
chamber
because
to
yeah,
pack my trip. So
yeah.
why?
No, well, I mean, the reason is, I guess, because it's a city thing. It's a city by city, and the county, and it is confusing in Beaufort County. It's crazy because why is a county Beaufort County and giving all this money to all of them, and it's all kind of commingled and all spread around. It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, but the law is that this is a tax from that city's funds. So I guess from that point, Bluffton, Hilton Head, and Beaufort could all have a separate DMO funded. The problem is they're not doing it legally. They're not allowing it to be done legally, and there is the crux of the problem.
So one of the problems that I had was one of many with this subject is that nobody was, and I was only concerned about the county because that's all I had direct responsibility. But we at that time, the county, were not putting this out to bid. It was not following procurement policies. So let's move forward. Since we're talking about the Hilton Head Bluffton Chamber of Commerce, I don't know any time in recent history that either the county, the town of Hilton Head, or the town of Bluffton has ever put this out to bid. Have they?
That's correct, Mike. In fact, we filed a lawsuit. One of the lawsuits that I filed, and I have more coming, but we filed a procurement lawsuit, and they just tied up in the courts and just keep appealing. And so I'm waiting to see where that ends up. But yes, you're right. They have just basically not followed procurement, giving opportunity to others. And there's a lot of violations of procurement, as you know, for many jobs. But Bill Miles, an example, has had the DMO job. Imagine this. Just imagine how corrupt and how bad this is. For 30 years, getting all this money. So let's assume that he's getting from South Carolina PRT matching grants. He's getting tax funds for hurricanes that never hit. He's getting funded by Governor McMaster for COVID relief, another $1.5 million. He's getting all the ATAX funds, and God knows it just all the advertising profits and everything used that he's generating from the illegal use of our tax funds. But let's just assume that hell, you could just say $2 million a year for 30 years. That's $60 million that's disappeared with no accounting, no oversight, no contracts, no nothing. Where's the money? And this is why the FBI and the IRS have got to get engaged, because this issue that I have tackled, that I was blessed to understand, is so complicated, and it's such a tangled web of corruption that no normal person, not even lawyers and accountants, can understand all this stuff.
Yeah.
It is that complicated. And it's not that I'm that smart, but after a monkey goes through this for 30 years, a monkey can figure it all out after a while. I mean, you don't have to be that smart with 30 years of living with this.
You know, the part that I think what woke me up as a business owner, when I started looking at, when you and I had some conversations, and I think I paid as a business owner, I want to say it was like $400 to join the Hilton Head Chamber.
Right.
Why did you join the Hilton Head Chamber? Well, because as a business owner, that's kind of what you're supposed to do. That's why we do it. Anyway, I started looking at the membership numbers, times that by 400, and you or maybe you led me to it. But anyway, I knew what their salaries were and the list of employees, and I started doing the math in my little brain. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't those salaries supposed to be paid for by membership? Well, if you do the membership math, there's no way that they could be paying, $500,000 or whatever it is to the executive director and all of the staff. The money doesn't add up.
Mike, you're exactly correct again, and I'll explain that in great detail, as short as I can. The fact is they this is another FBI situation. When you numbers don't lie, people lie. When you crunch the numbers of $400 of membership, and let's say they claim 1,500 members, and we don't even know that to be true. That could be fraudulent, because Bill Miles has a habit of inviting people to the chamber ball, giving free memberships. As far as I'm concerned, what he's done is committed bribery with a lot of officials locally, because every local official gets some letter from Bill Miles saying, hey, be my guest at my table, come to the chamber ball, get a free membership. So we don't know what the number is. Well, let's just say it's 1,500 members times 400. Let's just do the math. That's 600,000. We believe, and once it's forensically audited, we already know that Bill Miles on the IRS Form 990 is shown at $356,000 a year to be the executive director employee of a membership business league. Okay, that's not counting his perks, his benefits, his entertainment, his world travel. It goes on and on and on. We believe, and we've done an investigation on our own. We didn't need the FBI to do this. We've investigated him, and we believe he's over 500,000 or 600,000. And it could, we don't even, in Charleston and Myrtle Beach, they're over 1 million. But then we all of a sudden find out that Bill Miles in 2008 at the financial crunch buys a $1.7 million house in Indigo Run. So he's living in a $2 million house. And then we go and find out a mountain home in Cashiers, North Carolina, probably another $500,000. And so the bottom line is, once the FBI, which I assume the FBI will get on this eventually, the IRS and everybody, the criminal division, because this will not be allowed to continue, not only on Hilton Head, but statewide, because it's going to be in the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud and tax scams. So, but talking about Bill Miles,
one of the things. Go
Pardon
ahead.
me? I said it's impossible.
Go
The
ahead.
numbers don't. You cannot pay his salary with membership dues, and the only way that money could come from would be the illicit profits from advertising sales. That's the only place that it could come from.
So I think that it's important that listeners understand, because I've had some ask me in the past, why? Who cares? This is a business thing. Who cares? Well, the reason that we care is because, one, they're using your tax dollars as this seed money from every county, every town, whatever. They're using the taxpayer dollar. When anybody begins to use the taxpayer dollar, then they become subject to the taxpayer being able to see what their money goes to. The very beginning of this channel, when we first started, one of our first shows was on the commingling of funds with the DSN in Beaufort County. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is not a whole lot different, because they're commingling funds. At least that's what it appears to be, and they won't open the books. I've even asked them. You remember this? I asked them. Won't do it. Will not do it.
That's correct. Yeah. In fact, you've asked the Attorney General to enforce the South Carolina Nonprofit Corporation Act law. I've been all over Alan Wilson about that, and I'm not through with Alan Wilson because of that. But anyway, it's worse than that, Mike. Bill Miles actually said publicly, and the South Carolina Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, Dwayne Parrish, who also funnels millions to all these DMOs around the state, Helen Hill in Charleston, Myrtle Beach. Bill Miles says, when asked by David Bennett, the prior mayor, we got to see the money. I heard secretly he told David Bennett it was none of your business. And then Bill Miles gets up in a meeting and says, the reason I can't show you the tax monies and what I've done, the accounting and what I've done with all the money, it's my secret sauce. If I've done, it's going to reveal my secret sauce. Well, I look at myself as not only a professional in all these tax codes and all the chambers and CVB and DMO models, but I also look at myself as an expert on the direct marketing organization model itself. And I can tell you there's no secret sauce. The only thing we got is secret theft, and that's what we got. And so I assume after your show, and then after many other people that I've shared this information for, people are going to start seeing the light. Here's what's really, really bad. There's so many laws being violated, Mike. Not only the IRS federal laws, but state laws. But one of the interesting things about the commingling is when you commingle money with the chamber private membership dues and all this tax money, and then you commingle the advertising profits from a DMO website that was funded with ATAX monies. Are you ready for this one? Bill Miles, we don't even know what the number is, but it's over $1 million has been taken to Canada to develop the DMO website to upsell advertising on. Then what he does is commingles that money, and that money is paid out in excessive salaries, parties, travel, entertainment. The chamber ball. I assume that you've been to one of those swanky deals where a lot of people come for free, big guests, big wigs, all invited, and and then what Miles and his accountants are doing, and I think it's real important to reveal his accountants and his controllers, and that's CPA Ray Deal and Ray Warco with Webster Rogers, and I think he's since retired, but I'm not through with him yet either, because these people
Mhm.
they've committed fraud and they need to be arrested. But what they've done is they've helped Bill Miles launder this money. They are laundering this money, and at the year end tax returns, they're zeroing out in their tax returns and showing no profit. And that's how the FBI is going to catch them. All right, go ahead, Mike. Keep on asking me other questions.
Right. Well, we are running out of time. What I would like to do, and you're right, we could talk about this for show after show after show. I would like, if you have time next Thursday, I'd like to have you back on for another 30 or 45-minute deal.
Yeah.
If we can, if that works for you, we'll talk during the week. But tell people real quick before we have to go, how can they stay in touch with your watchdog group?
Well, they can email. I think it's staff at scwatchdog.com. They can go to the website scwatchdog.com that we operate. It needs to be improved. I mean, it's like anything, Mike. This is a volunteer effort. A lot of people that help are volunteers, my lawyers, and I'm funding. My family's funding, not me. My family and friends are funding everything we do. So they can do it that way. They can certainly send an email to staff at scwatchdog.com and send us any kind of information. We are being fed a lot of anonymous information, past employees of the chamber, the town, Buford. There's a lot of people, even employees, that are very unhappy with what's going on. So I assume, Mike, that this will come to an end. It'll be cleaned up, and everybody will benefit from this. The taxpayers, the chamber members, the private members will have a chamber that they can run and sit on the board and not be eliminated. They'll have a voice. We'll all have a voice. We'll all have transparency, and that's what we're after. Okay.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Skip Hoagland, again, thank you for being on here, sir, and hope to have you back next week if possible. All right.
Yeah. You just let me know, and you just send me a text, and I'll be there. I'll be there for you. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. All
Very
right.
much.
All right. So there you have it. That's just the tip of the iceberg, really. I mean, there is so much. And I hope that everyone is starting to see, now that we've been, I guess we're in double digits, number of times we've been on the air, but you should be starting to see how some of these things kind of weave themselves into this same ball or this Medusa, how all these tentacles are coming together. The word commingling is getting used more now with what we're talking about than it ever has in this area. Um, this is interesting stuff. Some of it is very complex. We don't talk about this every day, but it's good to know if you want to learn about corruption and what's going on with your tax dollars. If you don't care about your tax dollars, I don't even know why you're here. But if you care about your tax dollars, your children's tax dollars, the schools, the infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then you need to pay attention to this. You need to pay attention to this. So I want to hear more from Stu or Skip. There's things called UBIT taxes. It will blow your mind when he tells you about this. There's so much more. So glad to have Skip on here. We are going to run a little bit past. I wanted to also, we were talking about Chairman of the county party, Kevin Henley, there right before we got on with Skip. And I told you that the voting system that we have here is failed. It's failed. It's flawed. So by saying all that, I'm assuming that I have been kicked off of Kevin Henley's Christmas card list. You can tell that I'm probably defeated about that, but at least I know he still cares about me. He's letting me live rent free in his head. I know that. I've heard about it and I see it. This week, I was telling you about meetings. This week on Hilton Head, there was a GOP meeting. There's a video taken where blood vessels were popping out of his head when he was talking about this guy in Bluffton. He wouldn't call me by name, but this guy in Bluffton wants to get rid of me. So they quoted him, these same three people. And his quote was, "I will never resign, and you will never be able to get rid of me." Let me say that again. This is what the Chairman Henley, had to say. Quote, "I will never," and this is what the boom, boom, bumping out of his head. "I will never resign, and you will never be able to get rid of me." Ooh, that is creepy, bro. That is creepy. There's problems. So anyway, at the same meeting of the Public Facilities Committee of County Council, the subject, and I had some folks over in the Beaufort area, and I wanted to bring this up. We talked about Hilton Head, Bluffton. I want to bring up Beaufort, Ladies Island. I had some folks over there contact me and were just as upset, if not more, to be totally honest with you, of what happened at that meeting with their part of Beaufort County. The subject of a $3 million expenditure of dollars, the money was already acquired by taxes. So let's spend it, they say. That's the mantra in county council or county government, rather, the bureaucrat. Let's just spend it. They wanted to do this work on Ladies Island from the downtown bridge out towards Walmart, the high school. They got a big conundrum. There's a lot of traffic. They got a lot of problems with traffic control. They had put together different options, cut a road through here, put a road over there, do this and do that. Well, Paul Somerville and the chairman, this is so well orchestrated, and you could be, even Stevie Wonder could see this, how they orchestrated this and Passman. They decided to push option 0. Option 0 was to have from the foot of the bridge, the swinging bridge, all the way to, I guess it's like the Publix area, that intersection, widened to, it's 4 lanes, 4-lane widening along with turning lanes. So you could effectively, in the words of the traffic engineer, you could call it a 5-lane highway with raised landscape medians. That is honestly like 6 lanes. So Highway 21 from the swinging bridge downtown all the way out to the Publix area, which goes past the high school. They call it 4 lanes. Turning lanes makes it 5. The raised bed medians makes it 6. What's the big deal? Well, this is bad, and people are pissed over in Ladies Island. They're pissed, and they need to be, and they should be, because the county didn't listen. What the county did do, they listened to some folks who told fabricated stories about one of the options that would go from Rue du Bois, which is around by like the athletic fields, and cut across over to Sea Island Parkway, I guess it is, or Sea Island Drive, towards Hazel Farms. A group of people got bent out of alignment and said that was going to take away from Crystal Lake, and it was going to take away from the Catholic school soccer field or something to that effect. That was proven not to be exactly correct. Okay. It was not going to damage the Crystal Lake area, the entrance, the exit, or any of the area. Yes, there probably would have had to have been some purchasing of the Catholic schools, a soccer field or a portion of it or something to that effect. I don't know, and I'm not discounting the Catholic school there. I don't know that is a reason to not do this. But anyway, that would have created somewhat of an outer loop, or the beginning of an outer loop that could have been extended past Hazel Farms over to 21, past or near Ladies Island Middle School. That would have solved the problem of the traffic congestion at Beaufort High School if they'd reworked the entrance. Okay, that does need to be reworked. But you see, that area of Ladies Island, and I spoke with the mayor of the city of Beaufort, good friend of mine, Stephen Murray. He was telling me that area right there on Ladies Island is designed to be a village center, not a thoroughfare, not the heart of downtown. It's a village center. So let's get traffic out of there, vis-a-vis an outer loop. It would have been perfect. It would have been a perfect idea that you can already see where it would fit. But no, Paul Somerville, Stu Rodman, and Joe Passman come up with this harebrained idea to take 2 lanes of an old antique bridge that is iconic. Don't get me wrong. Let's open it up to a 6-lane superstructure and go to the 4-way intersection at Publix, where it's going to go back down to 2 lanes. And that's the fix. So here's what's going to happen. Not only are you completely asinine and not addressing any existing traffic, you're now asking for more traffic. But what's even worse in this corruptive deal is this. These raised landscape medians, okay? And you see that going up Brickyard Point, or Sam's Point Road, I mean. They're raised landscape they're pretty. Very pretty. Fire, EMS, and police can't cross over, only in specific areas. So you're going to get afternoon school pickup, beginning of athletics, an athletic event, someone having a wreck, a tractor trailer wanting to drop off, food over at the Fuji's. All those things, it will happen. Oh, and let's throw in vacation, because tourists head out towards Hunting Island and Harbor and Fripp. You want to talk about a complete cluster? The village center, Ladies Island, from the bridge to the Publix, is going to be a disaster. They need to stop. They need to stop. The people over there in Ladies Island and Beaufort, north of the Broad, need to show up. I think it's September 12th. September 12th. They need to be there, and they need to say, you need a timeout, ladies and gentlemen. Contact your council person right now, and tell them that you need to stop. We need to hold off, because they're about to create major, major problems. The county administrator had made mention that what a wonderful place Mount Pleasant is. And it is. Mount Pleasant's a beautiful place. I don't want to live there. Traffic sucks. But his rendition of the widened superstructure with raised beds and walkways is going to be a walkable community. Bull crap. They know walkable community about that. That's a accident waiting to happen. And God forbid when it does happen, because you won't be able to get picked up by the ambulance unless they're coming the same way you are. It's terrible. I don't know anybody that lives in southern Beaufort County or northern Beaufort County that wants to live like Mount Pleasant. If they did, they'd move there. I don't want to live like Mount Pleasant, or I'd live there. And I don't want where I live to look like Mount Pleasant. So I don't think this has been fully thought out. It's poorly thought out. It was quick. Somerville. Look, you see how upset I get. The chairman had made comment after the county administrator that the county administrator was pretty adamant that, we can't do anything. Staff is, our hands are tied. And the chairman, Rodman, had said, well, we'll talk about this and let's bring it back and, blah, blah, blah. Well, all of a sudden, like the cue card went up. Paul Somerville immediately says, well, I'll make a motion. And boom, boom. What I don't understand again is why no one spoke out about this on council. That really bothers me. Why? And because there were two there that are pretty conservative. But I look at my fellow colleague York Glover. Even though he is a Democrat, that's really neither here nor there. He loves his people. He loves his community, and his community is going to be directly affected by this. I can tell you right now, I will. There's no way I want to go over there, and I've got grandkids that live over there. 2 sets. I'm not going to want to go over there and be caught. I'm going to have to go a different way. And the mayor and I talked about this. They should be concentrating on using an alternative method, the new bridge, as people who live there call it, not the downtown bridge. But you see, here's the bigger problem. The people go over the downtown bridge if they're tourists because it's iconic. Those that live there because they have goods and services they need to get to. Well, those goods and services need to be on Ladies Island and make it a village center. And then the people can stay there. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So use the new bridge. There has been conversation. The mayor and I talked about it when I was on council and even before about a third roadway from Beaufort or from the mainland over to Ladies Island. At one time they talked about from Bellamy Curve, which is the 90 degrees, when you're going downtown, that 90-degree turn, they call that Bellamy Curve. A straight shot from there over to Brickyard Point or Sam's Point or whatever it is. That, I think, got poo-pooed for, and I'm not sure why. There was also conversations years ago about up near the air station. There's a road that goes along the side of the air station and behind the air station. I think it's called Pier Point or something like that. I want to say it's Pier Point. For my folks that live over that way, my fans, tell me if that's wrong. It's Pier Point or something to that nature. Anyway, and it's just a short jaunt over the water to Ladies Island, which is fine. However, now, and we talked about this when I was on council. You would have had to have gotten there's a special permission from the Marine Corps because you would be, putting a thoroughfare right behind their fence, basically. When the F-18 was there, that was doable. Now with the F-35, because of the sound and all of the criteria that is with the F-35 program, there is no way in hell that the Marine Corps would let that happen. So you can scratch that off the book. There is not going to be one from that end of Ladies Island, the head of it, as I call, out near the landings, over to the air station. That's not going to happen. Bellamy Curve, I think that is something that could be talked about and should be talked about because there needs to be, and hey, Evie says it right here, the new bridge, and that's what folks that live here call the other bridge that goes from Port Royal, the Naval Hospital, over into Ladies Island, over by Cat Island and Cane Island. Yeah, it's already a mess, but there's a process to this, and people have got to get out of the mindset of always using, and I mean people when I'm talking about politicians, the what's in it for me. Leilani, parting gifts by Liam just called the McTier Bridge, named for a former sheriff, also known as White Witch Doctor. Okay. I appreciate that. Trying Traffic on the new bridge. Yeah, you're right. Forgot where I was going with all that. But anyway, they can't keep doing this because politically it'll kill them another way. At some point in time, you, the people, have to be bigger than their office. Okay, that's really what this boils down to. Is you got to put people in office that this isn't their sole purpose in life, and they're going to listen to you, not to not to their donor business base. The mayor and I did talk. One of the things he told me about the cut from Rue du Bois over to the exit where you would face Hazel Farms. And I apologize not knowing these names. I don't live there. I don't eat that every day. He did tell me that Stantec, which is a consulting firm that the county uses for a lot of engineering things when it comes to roads, this was their opinion that was the consultant. And this will kill you. This will just kill you, because so many times, how many times rather have you heard them say, well, let's study that? That Paul Somerville was famous for that. Let's study that. So was Rodman and others. Let's study it. Let's hire a consultant. The dollars spent on consultants would make a ship float. It's unbelievable, the number of dollars that they waste. But when you have the engineer come back and say, do this, but you decide to do that. Sounds like Hilton Head Bridges, doesn't it? And that means back burner. Yeah, exactly. So next week, what do we have coming up next week? Well, you're not going to believe this, and you're definitely going to want to tell people, your friends, to come on board. I do. Obviously, we talk about the corruption in the county GOP a lot because there's a lot to talk about, quite frankly. And I have explained to everyone, what happened to me personally, and I like hearing from other people what happened to them. Next week, we are going to have a guest on the show and his wife, they're going to tell it from their mouth, their personal, what happened to them personally, I guess is a good way to put it, from Chairman Kevin Henley and the Beaufort County GOP. What happened when they were verbally accosted and verbally attacked and ended up leaving the party because of what he said and what he did. So you're going to want to join us next week when I have Jeff Zapp and his wife Lori Zapp on here. Very kind people, the salt of the earth. Jeff has a podcast of his own, the Jeff Zapp Show. Does a fantastic deal. He's a voiceover guy. I love them both. They're great people. We're going to have them on here, and I'm going to let them tell the story of what happened to them. What happened to them when they stood up against, the big bad king, otherwise known as Kevin Henley. Because this obviously isn't made up stuff. This is real. And we poke a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with it, but it's very serious. It's very serious because this is damaging the way our society is. This is damaging the republic. This is damaging what he and they being the leadership of the county party. This is damaging our democratic process. We simply can't stand for it anymore. So the more you know, the more you are aware of what happens behind closed doors, the more you're aware of the malicious attacks on people, the better informed you'll be. We've made this public a couple times that, Kevin, it's up to you. You can resign. We've asked you to resign. And if you don't resign, we're just going to keep bringing this stuff up. You can go out on your own. Leave me up to you. Have a party, have a parade, pick your cake, the whole works. Works for me. And I'm not seeking anything out of this. However, time for you to go. And if you don't, well, we're going to organize enough to vote you out. And part of that is what you see on your screen right here, coming up on the 19th of September. Put this, take a picture with your phone while we're still on. I'll leave it up here for a little bit. Take a picture of it. Go to that page. There is going to be what's known as the Beaufort Reorg meeting, where we're going to talk about what's going on with the folks at MySC GOP. They're coming into town. They're going to be talking. The president of, I believe he's called a president, the head cheese from the MySC GOP, is going to give a talk on what's going on really with the GOP and what we can do as patriots to change it. He's going to give a talk. I'm going to give a talk. Mine's going to be hilarious with a serious side, but hilarious. $10. That's it. $10 again. It's going to be food and drink. It's at the Old Beaufort Golf Club. The Old Beaufort Golf Club. And if you are a patriot, and I hope that everyone here is, I want to see you at 6 o'clock on the 19th of September. At the same time, don't forget, pay attention and look out for Big Patriot Radio. That's going to be for Patriots. But this event right here, come on out, show up, stand with like-minded patriots. Let's take this country back. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next week right here on Beaufort County's House of Cards, History, Mayhem, and Manipulation.